Hello everybody, welcome back to the great state of Montana. This is the Carbine Cowboy coming to you. If those of you that watched my previous video on the Marlin 1895 45-70, you'll recognize this rifle. I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about this rifle. This rifle has a 22-inch barrel. It's got a 1 in 20 twist, and it's chambered in the 45-70. I've had this rifle since 1996. I've taken quite a few deer, and I even took an elk with it. And I'm here to tell you that this thing will knock whatever it hits into the next time zone. It'll even hit you pretty hard if you let it. They say that this rifle is not capable of firing hard cast lead bullets due to the micro-groove barrel that's in it. Let me show you the target, and I'll let you make your own decision on that. As you can tell, that target right there was fired at 100 yards with a 400 grain Rimrock solid cast bullet. It's about a 22 on the hardness scale. Now I don't know about you, but that's some pretty decent accuracy. That's 3/16 by a half by a quarter. And like I said, that's at 100 yards. And just to give you a comparison for those of you that may not know about the size of the 45-70, here is two 45-70 rounds compared to the average 30-06. Not bad, huh? Pretty good sized cartridge. This thing was invented in 1873. And it was chambered in the trapdoor Springfield. And the Army used it from about 1873 till the turn of the century. The original loading for this rifle was a 400 grain bullet charged with, as you guessed it, 70 grains of black powder for a muzzle velocity of about 1,300 feet a second out of the trapdoor carbine. Out of the full-size infantry model, it got a little bit faster. But then, with the advent of smokeless powder, this cartridge really picked up. For those that don't know much about the 45-70, I will try to keep it as short and sweet as possible because there's a lot of writing out there on it. If you reload for this cartridge, you have basically three separate reloading data sheets. You have one for your trapdoor Springfields, you have another which is for the Marlin 1895, and then you have another for the Ruger single-shot rifle. Now the Marlin is kind of the middle of the road. I can load these bullets up, whether cast or jacketed, to exceed 2,300 feet a second, which is the bottom end of the .458 Winchester Magnum. Then when you jump up into the Ruger rifle, you can even get them a little hotter than that. And I am here to tell you that they're not pleasant. They're really not. The recoil out of them is quite stout. But if somebody is looking for a rifle for big game, or they're wanting something for big bears, Marlin makes this rifle in a couple of different configurations. They make it in the 1895, is this one. They make it in the guide gun. They make it in stainless steel, laminated stock. Everything from an 18-inch barrel all the way up to a 24-inch barrel. I mean, they make this thing in all different makes, models, and configurations. I kind of like this model right here. It's short, the barrel's not too short, and it does deliver very nice accuracy. The reason why I wanted to do this video is there's been a little bit of resurgence in the 45-70 here of late, and I'm here to tell you I've never been displeased with this cartridge. You can load it down to black powder velocities where the 400 grain bullets are leaving the barrel at a little over 1,100 feet a second, or depending upon the rifle, you can load it up to where it rivals the .458 Winchester Magnum. Now I shoot a lot of jacketed and cast bullets out of this rifle, and both of them give me about the same degree of accuracy. I do know that this rifle's optimum range is about 250 yards. After that, you got to start playing a little bit of Kentucky windage with it, because these big 500 grain bullets, well, gravity does have its effect. And then you have to start really aiming over top of your target. But out to 200, 250 yards, as I stated previously, anything within its killing distance is going to go down. Little story I wanted to tell you was in 1885, the United States Army took the 45-70, fired it out of a trapdoor carbine in New Jersey, and fired it at over a half a mile. With the load at that time, it penetrated 4 inches of solid pine board and 6 inches of sand. Now, that's quite a distance, and I wouldn't want to be anywhere around when this bullet hits the ground. This was the predominant cartridge for, like I said, the United States military from 1873 to the turn of the century, and it has killed every two-legged and four-legged critter that's been on this planet. And it is still quite popular as a woods rifle, and that's exactly what I use it for here in the state of Montana. Marlin did a very good job when I brought this rifle back. They really did. I can't complain. The rifle weighs about 7.5 pounds. I opted mine with a scope for hunting in deep timber for low light conditions. And I got to admit, it does really well. With the animals that I have killed with it, I've never had to shoot one more than once. So I would suggest that if anybody's looking for a heavy-hitting 200, 250-yard rifle, the 45-70 is no slouch, and it will truly get the job done. Marlin did a fantastic job when they reintroduced this rifle. If I had to give this rifle a letter grade, I'd give it a solid A. But I am also going to tell you, it's not for the faint of heart. When you start getting up into the heavier, faster loads with this rifle, the recoil does start becoming predominant. But if you want to keep it at the low end or middle of the road, she does fine for that too. So from a cold but sunny Montana afternoon, I say farewell, and I'll see you next time.